What if I told you Julius Caesar conquered Gaul before most battles even began? Not with superior numbers, not with luck, but by understanding something most people still ignore today. People don't lose when they're redefeated. They lose when they're controlled. Gaul wasn't one enemy. It was a chaotic mess of tribes pretending to be strong together but were actually weak apart. Caesar saw this immediately. He didn't just rush in to fight them all. No, he watched, he listened. He carefully chose who to support and who to provoke. While the Gallic tribes argued, formed petty rivalries, and fought each other, Caesar calmly positioned himself as the only solution to their chaos. By the time they realized what was happening, they were no longer facing Rome, they were facing each other. Caesar had turned their own divisions into his greatest weapon. Next, he mastered the element of speed. Caesar moved faster than his enemies' minds could even process. He marched his legions when no one expected armies to move. He attacked in the dead of winter, crossed rivers thought impossible to cross, and appeared where he was never supposed to be. His enemies were constantly caught off guard, saying to themselves, "He can't be here yet," and that fatal delay cost them everything. Speed didn't just win him land, it shattered his opponent's confidence. And once confidence breaks, resistance crumbles soon after. He also understood a brutal truth. Hunger defeats armies faster than swords ever could. So, Caesar didn't just chase glory through endless, bloody battles. He targeted something far more fragile than soldiers: their food supply. He burned crops, blocked vital supply routes, and forced his enemies to choose between surrender or starvation. At the famous siege of Alesia, he didn't just surround the enemy army, he surrounded hope itself. Trapped inside their fortress, starving, watching their relief forces fail to break through. The Gauls surrendered, not because they were weak, but because survival demanded it. Of course, fear did most of the work for him. Caesar punished rebellion brutally and very publicly. Entire cities that defied him were erased. Survivors were sold into slavery. The message traveled faster than his legions ever could. Resist, and you disappear. Submit, and you live. Soon, many tribes surrendered without a fight, not because they admired Caesar, but because they feared him more than death itself. Fear became his invisible army, conquering hearts and minds long before his soldiers arrived. And every single night, while his enemies rested, Caesar built his army, was constantly constructing fortified camps, digging trenches, and raising walls. His men worked when others slept. This relentless preparation became their protection. This iron discipline became their dominance. At first, his enemies mocked the effort, laughing at the Romans who acted more like construction workers than soldiers. But they stopped laughing when they realized that every wall Caesar built stole another advantage from them, trapping them in a cage of his own design. When the Gauls tried to change tactics, Caesar didn't cling to pride or tradition. He adapted instantly. They started using guerrilla warfare. He adjusted his formations. They brought in strong cavalry. He hired even better cavalry. They set up ambushes. He completely changed how his army moved and scouted. He understood a simple truth that is still relevant today: rigidity gets you killed. Flexibility is what keeps you alive. He was a master of evolution on the battlefield. And finally, after all the bloodshed and conquest, Caesar did something even more powerful. He wrote the story. He personally authored the Gallic Wars, framing himself as a defender, not an invader, a protector of Rome, not a ruthless tyrant. Rome read his words and believed them completely. History didn't just remember his victories, it remembered his version of them, because he knew that ultimate power doesn't end on the battlefield. It ends in who controls the narrative. So you see, Julius Caesar didn't conquer Gaul just by being the strongest man in the room. He conquered it by controlling division, speed, resources, fear, discipline, adaptation, and perception. These strategies didn't die with the Roman Empire. They just changed their clothes. They are used in politics, in business, and even in our daily lives. So here's the real question for you. Now that you understand how Caesar conquered people without them realizing it, do you think you're living by strategy, or are you being conquered without even knowing it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.